In this episode, Philanthropy in PV Schools. From the heart of paradise, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Kara. And as always, we've got our lovely team in the studio helping us produce the show.
Kara, I want to do a little bit of like a kind of shout out segment, I'm going to call it. But we want to kind of shout out Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish recently celebrated 45 years in the Valley. And we want to highlight them because they have a very close working relationship with our high schools. Make-A-Wish has a program called Kids for Wish Kids, and it allows students and youth organizations to plan and execute fundraisers and grant wishes to children with critical illnesses. And this really fosters leadership and community service within our high school and within our students.
This allows participants to organize activities to fundraise, like bake sales or sporting events. And, recently, Pinnacle, as an example, was fundraising to send a student to Super Nintendo World in Japan. Horizon High School was recently fundraising to send one of their own students to Disney World. And Shadow Mountain High School has a fundraiser coming up as well. So be on the lookout for all those wonderful things that they are doing.
And again, we wanted to take a moment to thank Make-A-Wish Foundation and everything that they do with our high schools. And we want to thank our high schools as well for making a direct, tangible impact on the lives of their peers.
If you're interested in learning more about our high school's collaboration with Make-A-Wish, please contact one of our high schools. You can find them at pvschools.net.
Join us for the 16th annual PV Schools Community Fun Run and Walk with a health fair on Saturday, January 31st at Horizon High School. The 5K is an event encouraging active lifestyles among our staff, families, and community members. Participants who register before January 17th will receive a t-shirt. Learn more at pvschools.net.
Is your little one ready for kinder? Kindergarten Roundup events are happening at elementary sites this month. This is the perfect opportunity to tour campuses, meet the highly qualified teachers, and explore specialized programs. Visit the school's website or call to get more information. You can also find more information on the district's Kindergarten in Paradise page. Visit pvschools.net to begin your child's journey of excellence today.
Now, back to the beat. PVBeat, that is.
Up next on the podcast is our guest, Connor Hutchinson, who is the Director of Finance. Hi, Connor. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Before we go, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kara. I'm sorry.
My bad. So we wanted to talk about, bring in the Make-A-Wish factor into here. Tell us more about the Make-A-Wish and how that fundraising impacts PV schools.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. So like a lot of fundraisers where you can go on like a GoFundMe, so to speak, where you go on the site and donate directly to that campaign, since the students are doing the work and it's considered a fundraiser, which helps that philanthropic activity that the students are putting on, the students have to work towards raising that money, whether they're doing an assembly, whether they're doing a car wash, what have you, an approved fundraising method. The kids then will collect the donations directly. It's accounted for separately. And then the students are making one big donation on behalf of the school, the site, the student council, whatever group is putting that on. And that then goes towards Arizona Make-A-Wish Foundation. So it's really big. I mean, I would say that on average, over $10,000 for some of these fundraisers. I mean, it's very common for the Make-A-Wish, which I believe is almost a yearly thing at some of our high schools.
I think what I'm impressed by with this is our high school students are raising money for other students around the Valley. They don't necessarily have to be fundraising for someone at their own school. Like Horizon, I believe, is fundraising for a student at the school. Pinnacle is fundraising for a student somewhere else in the Valley. But I just, again, love the generosity and the kind hearts of these students.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. We have great schools, we have great communities, and we really have great students in our schools. So I think it's fantastic that we're taking that opportunity to recognize them, because it's a lot of work they put on to raise. I mean, raising $10,000 is not easy, especially at one high school when we have how many high schools in Maricopa County in the Valley? So it is fantastic that we're able to do such an amazing fundraiser for the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Let's move into tax credit. Let's talk a little bit more. It's not just a deduction. It really helps students, schools, and it does help parents as well. Can you talk to us about tax credit donations?
Yeah, so I like to say, and I know you said deduction, so the CPA in me is going to go back and say it's tax credit. I always say tax credits
Thank you.
are smiley faces, right? Tax credits, those are dollar for dollar reductions on your taxes. A deduction is either above the line or below the line. Regardless, I'm not getting into tax accounting with you all, but those reduce your taxable income. But you want the credit, right? Because those give you a bigger impact than, say, a deduction proportionally. But this is really giving the taxpayer the opportunity to choose where their money goes. For example, if you owe $400 and you're married and you make a Arizona Public School tax credit donation, or I guess you call it a donation, to a site that's eligible, and you get the form and you put on your Arizona state tax return, you then will owe, if you donate $400, you would owe nothing if you qualified.
Okay.
So again, dollar for dollar credit, and it allows you to choose versus your property tax and other things go into the state's general fund, and then it gets proportioned out according to the legislator. Then this was actually, again, I can choose. I want to give it to this school's dance program or this school's CTE program or just this high school in general, because I know this school maybe needs money for some general repurposing if it's allowable.
Can you talk about some of the, well, for starters, thank you for clarifying that. Again, this is why we have you on the podcast. You're the expert. But can you clarify for the viewer, what are some things that they can put their money toward? Are there areas that yes, they can, and areas where no, they cannot put the money toward that?
Yeah, the bigger ones you're going to see that are generally allowable. There's a whole publication that the state has, and of course it's up to legislative approval, but generally you're going to see extracurricular activities or like character development, approved district character development modeling type activities, and some after school or like field trips, not field trips, but your out of state bigger ones. Sometimes those are eligible to be tax credit payment eligible. You do also have some other general things like nursing supplies can be currently allowed, as well as shade structures over playground equipment at schools. So whether that's new or replacing, that can be really beneficial for the sites. There are various other things you can use them for, but those are your bigger ones that are going to come through.
And you don't have to be a parent to donate to a school. You can just be a taxpayer in the community, correct?
Absolutely. And truthfully, you don't actually have to be living in, like you could donate to any district. So for instance, just to give an anecdote, I live in a different school district, but I last year did a tax credit donation to PV because it doesn't matter where you live, you can make the donation. And I do not have children in the district. So anyone can do that. I mean, you can be any age, as long as you're a taxpayer, I guess, and you don't truly have to be a taxpayer, you can make those donations.
And now is the right time to donate. Is that correct?
It is, yes. If you donate between December 31st and April 15th, you can then choose, obviously depending on the year, if you want to do it this current tax year, which we're technically in tax year 2025. So you can either put it towards your 2025 taxes or tax year 2026 taxes. So you actually get that flexibility to choose when you want to apply it.
Can you provide the viewer with information if they want to do a tax credit? What do they need to do?
Yeah, so you'll need to go to the district website, which is PVSchools.net, and they'll have to navigate to our tax credit donation page because it does have to go through that specific page because that receipt it generates will give you the information for your taxes. And from there, you can choose the site. Then it'll pop up with a list of current programs in there or general. And then you can even type, like you were making a donation to a charity, what you want that donation to be used towards. And if there was ever any issue with, something didn't exist or it's not actually possible for that, you would then be reached out to by the site or finance and they would say, hey, this isn't possible, but did you want to do this? Did you want to amend your comments? So that way we can really, truly use your money towards the purpose you gave it towards.
All right. Thank you, Connor, for all the wonderful insights. Is there any other insights you would like to share today?
Yeah, I mean, I would really just add that the tax credit donations are meant to be that enrichment experience for the students. That's what the money's for. So while the state budget primarily funds your core instructional monies, you then have tax credit, which is that enrichment, those experiences that help make school engaging and well-rounded for the students through those after-school activities or trips.
Thank you again so much for joining us on the podcast. And again, for more information on how to donate, you can go to PVSchools.net or contact your school.
All right, Sarah, now let's get into some shout outs.
Shout out to Paradise Valley High School JAG students and their coordinator, Holly Gorman, who had the opportunity to go to the state capitol and meet with Governor Katie Hobbs. This meeting provided students with a unique platform to highlight the importance of career readiness, leadership development, and individualized support services offered through JAG. Kudos to an incredible student experience.
Congratulations to Pat Hurley, who was selected Administrator of the Year by the Arizona Association of Student Council.
And shout out to Greenway Middle School, who was showcased at the School Connect Summit for making a difference among Arizona youth.
And Sarah, that has been the podcast. For more information on the many journeys of excellence, visit www.pvschools.net.
You can also find PV Schools on social media by searching at PV Schools. Make sure to support student success by liking, commenting, and sharing.
And as always, support the pod by rating us on Apple and Spotify and sharing new episodes on the social media platform of your choice.
Bye.